No, I don't. I just see you.
Hey everyone, it's Jennifer Mardoff here with I'm Engaged. What now? I am here with Jackie Courtney, and she is here to answer all of your questions about shopping online for that special dress. I am super excited to have Jackie here tonight, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to join us and give us your expertise.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I don't know if you guys know, but Jackie owns Nearly Newlywed. She's owned it for about 5 years now, and is a independent business owner. She is amazing. You guys are really in for a treat tonight. She's just has so much expertise and can answer all your questions about wedding dress shopping, and most importantly, she has a alternative to finding that dress online that you have always dreamed of, a designer dress maybe that is actually in your budget. Her concept is truly amazing. Um, she has come up with a great option for you guys to find the wedding dress of your dreams in your budget online. So I'm going to turn it over to her. She's going to introduce herself, tell all of you how she got started in this business and how it's really taken off. And one more awesome fact about Jackie is she was on Shark Tank. I don't know if you guys ever watched Shark Tank. My husband and I are huge fans, and we actually watch it faithfully weekly. And we happened to see Jackie on there one night, and she did amazing. Like probably one of the best entrepreneurs that we've seen on there. And we wanted to connect with her. And I didn't tell you this, Jackie, but I actually thought we wouldn't get a call back. I was like,
Really?
there's no way. She's like a celebrity.
Oh my gosh,
She
I'm
has
not at all.
celebrity status. The
No.
woman was on Shark Tank. We're not getting a call back from
I
her.
was like, no, sounds like such an awesome concept. I can't wait to chat.
Yeah. So thank you. Really, honestly, we really appreciate your time. And ladies, you are in for a special treat. So get your questions ready for Jackie, because I know she can take the heat and
Yeah.
she can answer all your questions about wedding dress shopping online, the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts, and the pitfalls. So I'm going to throw it over to Jackie, and she's going to introduce herself.
Hello. Hi. I'm Jackie. I'm, as Jennifer said, I'm the founder of Nearly Newlywed, and I have been on Shark Tank also to talk about it. I started Nearly Newlywed when I was engaged myself, and I started it mostly because I kind of was searching for wedding gowns. I didn't know a lot about buying a wedding gown. I mean, I loved clothes and shopping, but the wedding dress experience and the wedding experience in general was kind of all new to me. And throughout that process, I realized that dresses were super expensive. There were kind of a lot of long lead times. And of course, a lot of the dresses that I really wanted to wear were like very expensive. I'm from like a small town in Iowa. I was getting married in the Midwest also. So it wasn't like, like a humongous budget wedding. And on top of that, I remember just like kind of looking at our little budget. I mean, and being like, okay, like, I don't think the wedding dress can be like a third or, half of the budget. And so kind of that was sort of a reality check, I guess. And then through that process, I kind of researched a lot. I tried just for myself to do a lot of different things. So I ordered some less expensive dresses online. I went to sample sales. I'm lucky to be in New York right now, so there was a lot of options for that. But even that, I actually ended up buying one because it was like you have to buy it there. I bought a sample at a Saks sample sale, and then of course, like it was like I don't know, still like 9 months or something to my wedding, and decided that wasn't the right dress. And so I kind of went through all of that, and then through that process, I also talked to a lot of brides, and then I kind of came up with the idea for Nearly Newlywed, which is meant to help girls, get the dress that they really want and save money, whether it's before their wedding or after their wedding or both. And we do that by offering dresses that are, for the most part, 40 to 90% off. And a lot of them are new, some of them are samples, and then a lot of them are pre-owned once worn. And then we also work with brides and stores on the other side of it to sell them after the wedding to kind of recoup some of the budget if you don't want to hold on to it.
I think that's an amazing point because so many people think, what do I do with my dress afterwards? Some people, maybe, don't want to have it preserved or they don't have any plans to, pass it down to their children. And they kind of maybe want to recoup some of the costs associated with that expensive one-time purchase. So you do give them the option of reselling it, right?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's, a lot of brides that we work with, some are thinking that some of them, oh, sorry, I saw a comment pop up and I was like, wait, what?
That's okay.
So we work with a lot of brides that aren't sure, the whole process is new. You don't know how you're going to feel on your wedding day. You don't know how you're going to feel after your wedding. A lot of women think maybe I would want to sell my dress, or it would be great to get some money back to help, either pay for the honeymoon or the bills, or to put towards, your new life with your partner. But you maybe don't know how you feel. And so a lot of women kind of decide after they they give it a little space, like they get their photos back. They kind of, and a lot, at least, obviously the women that we work with do resell it. And that's one of the best parts of my job, is to be able to send, a big check, a big payment to somebody. They always are like, oh, I'm going to use this, for my new home, or, I'm going to go on a second, like another little trip. That's a really good part of it. So, yeah.
Can you see that comment there that just popped up?
Oh. Yes. Should I read it?
Yeah, it says, what if we know what dress we want, but we are afraid to get it on the site selling it?
So that's, it really depends. I'm certainly biased because I run Nearly Newlywed. So the way we do it is that every dress is returnable. So you have, a week basically to try it on. And if it doesn't work, you can return it as long as, you haven't worn it or damaged it. And you just have to pay a return fee. There are, I think, a lot of, when I was going through the process, which is also why I started Nearly Newlywed and why we function the way that we do, I had a few dresses that I found online that I thought, could be perfect, but I was afraid either they weren't authentic, or there was also a few that I just didn't have access even to trying on that style, or, and I was like, oh, I think it's going to look great, but what if it just looks horrible on me? It's my wedding dress, it's not like, oh, maybe I'll wear that someday. So I think that the return policy is a big thing. That's something that I feel really strongly about because it's such an important purchase. If that isn't an option, I would ask the seller or the company. In some cases, I think that, especially if you're talking about an individual seller and you're discovering them on sort of a peer-to-peer platform like eBay or something, they might make an exception. Or, you could offer to say, if it doesn't work, I think that's one of that's why we kind of broker it the way that we do, because there's a lot of nerves on both sides. Sellers also are concerned sometimes that someone's going to buy it, try to return it, but have worn it.
Sure.
So I think you should try, if you can, to either buy from a reputable company that does offer a return policy, because that's really the best safeguard. There's not really much to be afraid about. If that really is not an option because you can't find the dress you want at a portal like that, I would try to contact the company or the seller and just, maybe even actually have like a Skype or some sort of interaction with them that's, more, to quell their nerves too, that you're a legitimate buyer.
Right.
Because there can be scams on both sides.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the big things. You don't want to be stuck with a dress that isn't what you thought, or that you just can't even begin to alter to work.
Now, do you recommend, because I know you were saying worrying about whether or not the dress is going to fit you properly, do you recommend that brides maybe go to a local boutique first, look at the dress, feel, touch it, see what kind of material maybe they like, maybe even try on a few dresses to see what kind of shape would look good on their figure, or style rather, and then look online? Or does it not really matter?
I think it depends on the bride. Some brides have a, either a stronger idea of what they want, but also, maybe, a wedding dress is definitely a specific purchase, but it's essentially, a gown. And so if you have, prom dresses, or even maybe a really nice dress that you've worn to a wedding or something special that that you like that silhouette, whether it's like strapless or fitted, or that I think can help inform your decision. I do think, if you have no idea, it can be overwhelming. I think it can be overwhelming also in a store, but that way, at least, particularly if there's like return policies and stuff, you can kind of see more. I do think you can discover a lot online, and, in watching, like, whether it's looking at photos and looking at things on Pinterest, you can also, if you find a designer or some pictures that you like, if they have a fashion show or anything like that on their site, you can sometimes see the video and see how something's going to move. And then I also think looking at real wedding photos can be helpful. Certainly every woman's body is different, but you can also kind of see like, oh, she kind of looks like me, or, physical, like, has kind of my body shape. And also, maybe it's like, has kind of the look I want. So those things can all be kind of touch points. But I do think, seeing the gown in person, touching a few and trying a few on can be certainly helpful,
Thank you. Eva is actually asking, she wants to know, where do the majority of the dresses come from your site? So where do you get the dresses from?
So we get the dresses from individual brides all over the US and actually internationally. And then we also get them from stores and designers. So I would say, broad strokes, most of the pre-owned gowns are from individual brides. And most of the samples and new gowns are from stores or designers that we work with. But that's not always the case. There actually are a fair amount of brides that are selling a sample that maybe they bought and changed their mind and can't return, or a new dress that, they had to order way in advance and then they kind of changed their mind about it. But all of them come through, we either have them all in stock, or when someone wants to buy them, they come into our office. So they're all coming from Nearly Newlywed, but in terms of their like original sources, it kind of varies.
I think you just brought up a great point that I didn't even think of till just now. Buyer's remorse. We have so many brides. I wouldn't say so many, but I've seen posts in our group where a bride has purchased a dress or put a significant amount of money down, and they bought at a small boutique, and it's all sales final, and they're stuck with the dress, and they find another dress that they absolutely love. Can they somehow then sell that dress to you, or find a new owner for that first dress and maybe recoup some of their money through Nearly Newlywed?
Definitely. It actually happens, like you said, not a ton, but a fair amount, which is, a bummer, obviously, for everybody.
Yeah.
You can definitely resell it. I mean, that's another reason why I'm like, take your time. Don't feel pressured into buying a dress, because it's always better to not find yourself in that situation. But you definitely can. We have a lot of brides that we've worked with that either they had buyer's remorse, or a few of them just completely changed their wedding. Like they went from having, a big wedding to wanting to do a destination wedding on a beach. And it's just like, I can't wear the dress, is too different. And then you can make back some of your investment and put that towards the other dress.
We have another question, and I'm not sure if it's specifically for your website, or maybe they just want suggestions in general about where they might be able to get a non-traditional wedding dress, maybe like a different color. They don't want the white. Maybe they want, a chartreuse, or I don't know what color, but.
Awesome. Wedding dresses in the West didn't even used to always be white, and are not in a lot of other cultures. I love brides that want to try something non-traditional. If you're not sure you want a non-traditional dress, or you're kind of like are on the line, we have a lot of brides that will do a second dress that is, more non-traditional. In terms of finding a non-traditional dress or something that's not, bridal per se, I think that there's a lot of options. I mean, a lot of your local stores and department stores, certainly just browsing on some of the big e-commerce retailers that do fashion and just looking at their gown selection and their dress selection. There's a lot that you can do also with dressing up a gown or altering it. So if you find one that you like, or you love the color, but maybe you don't think it's fancy enough, you could, add a little sleeve, or put like a more embellished sash or something with it and kind of make it your own. We do have some of those that are a little bit more fashion on our site, but not, certainly not a big selection of those. So I don't know. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you. Getting back to some of the pitfalls that we should watch out for. I know you said one of the big ones is making sure or checking out the return policy, and also having an interaction with the seller, maybe hopping on Skype or Zoom and actually talking to the seller one-on-one, especially if you're doing something through eBay. So you really get a feel for who you're interacting and who you're making that big purchase from. But besides those two things, are there any other major items that we should look for when shopping for a dress online? Maybe any red flags that you could think of that people should, when they see it, should kind of take a step back and maybe reassess?
Yes, I would say I think that maybe there's a little less of this since there's more people buying and selling gowns, wedding gowns online. And I also think, particularly probably the ladies in this group are fairly savvy on the web. But I would say that if you see something that, like if you're looking at something and it looks like too good to be true, like a dress that's supposed to be like $5,000 and it says it's like $100 or $200, like that is not going to be authentic. And so it's either not an authentic seller or worse, it's not an authentic retailer. They're going to send you something that is not at all the photograph. And so, again, like if they had a return policy, that wouldn't be that big of a deal. Be like, this is not the dress I ordered. But I've, heard some horror stories of women that have been like, saw the Monique Lullier or Vera Wang or, said designer, and paid, maybe like 500, something like very, very, very low, like 95% off or something. That's generally, even if you're getting a great deal, that's going to be a little too good to be true. What are other red flags? Again, like if it's something that there's not a return policy, check reviews. Most companies are going to have some mixed and positive and negative reviews, but if you can't find any or something like that, you might want to be concerned that it's not a legitimate e-tailer. I actually, when I bought my dress, I didn't have my company and I had a hard time finding a way. So I actually tried to find the dress I wanted by like contacting people on eBay and some of these other peer-to-peer sites, and actually did have someone try to scam me. Like they texted me on my phone pictures of like them in the dress on their wedding, and it like wasn't a real person. But I think that generally then, like, if you can't transact on the site and they're trying to get you to just like send them money and kind of like or a check or something, that's a big red flag. I guess that those are like kind of the big ones.
And will a reputable business, like I know there's like JJ House, there's, a few of the bigger ones, they should have a return policy. Like, is that normal for a company like that or an online real retailer? And also the retailer, a lot of them I know also have like brick and mortar stores, even though they're they have an online and a brick and mortar. Does that maybe make them a little bit more reputable? And do you suggest people maybe go to, shop online at a retailer like that instead of, Amazon or eBay?
I think it depends. I think a lot of stores will have they'll like do pop-ups, or they'll have, it depends on if it's an option. Like I know that there's some a few of the bigger that sell new dresses that they like the only showroom or store they have is like maybe in like LA. They certainly don't have. I think if it's an option and they have a store, that's definitely great. There are some reputable sellers, small designers. I actually know, I think Grace Loves Lace, which is an Australian company. There are some that only offer made to order. And I think those sometimes are final sale because they're going to cut and make the dress for you. If you can't try on a sample first and it's final sale and they're going to make it for you, beyond just a scam, you just want to feel super confident that you want that dress. It doesn't always mean that, it's an illegitimate retailer. especially if they're really upfront about that, like, we don't send out samples, you're going to get this dress. But then, even if they are legitimate, sometimes, you get stuck with a dress that, didn't necessarily meet your expectations. Certainly things can look sometimes better on the internet than, in person.
And that's when they come to you and they say, how can you sell this dress for me? And how can I recoup some of my money? We have another question. Somebody wants to know if your various sizes that you have, like, do you have mostly, maybe model sizes, or do you have real life like sizes, like normal women's sizes? We have somebody in the group here that says she's struggling because she's a size 18 and up. So do you have a wide variety of sizes available at Nearly Newlywed?
We do. Since a lot of them are pre-owned, those are a little bit, more, we have less control, like we're not ordering them, but we do. And we are actually working on getting more and more sizes and more dresses so that there's more of a selection, both in size and in style. But we do. And I think a lot of other stores do. I think that there's actually, maybe I can find it after this and post it. There's one or two companies also that I know that are making, that have recently launched or recently started and have some really gorgeous gowns that are, I think, 16 to 20 or 14 to 20 that are,
oh, that's great.
Yeah, I think maybe like a couple that are really, there's the couple that have launched just doing that. I mean, we also do have some, but there's other resources out there for that too.
Fabulous. We have a couple people that are just joining us. So if you wouldn't mind just recapping a little bit, just maybe going over some of the pitfalls of what ladies should watch out for when they're dress shopping online, and maybe just briefly reintroduce yourself, because a couple people, 3 or 4 people just hopped on.
Oh, hello. I'm Jackie. I'm the founder of Nearly Newlywed. We help brides buy and sell dresses online, and we specialize in helping girls save money, whether that's by getting a great deal. Most of our dresses are about 40 to 90% off of retail. And then we also help brides either sell a dress after their wedding if they want to recoup some of that investment, or, if for some unfortunate reason they change their mind or they don't like their dress, they can also sell it to get some dollars back to put towards, the dress they really do want. We were talking a little bit about the pitfalls and things to watch out for when you're shopping online. At Nearly Newlywed, we offer a kind of a risk-free return policy on all of our dresses. I'm biased. I think that's best practice. So if you want to, so in general, when you're shopping, it's best to try to find someone or a retailer that offers you a return policy. Too good to be true deals, like 98% off, are probably not authentic or legitimate. Yeah, I think those are the main things.
Maybe you could tell us a little bit what sets your online shop apart from, some of the other major online shops.
So, I've kind of said a lot about the return policy. So on the pre-owned front or on the sample front, that's one of the things that we do differently. Actually, most sample sales and stores, brick and mortar stores too, that specialize in samples, and some of them are really, really great and have great stuff, but they're primarily final sale too. So even if you have it tactile in your hands and you can try it on, but if you want to leave the store with it and go to your house, like, you're going to have to keep it. So I think that that's one of the things that sets us apart also from some of the brick and mortars. Mm-hmm. In terms of like the internet at large and, a lot of the new people, we are really focused on, a great customer experience and also listening to our brides and helping them save money. So we really kind of focus on offering a good value, particularly for designer gowns, and curating them and making sure they're authentic and helping. I mean, most of our dresses are around 40 to 90% off. And if you decide you want to resell it after your wedding, you can generally expect to make back quite a lot of it. It's sort of like a wedding dress is kind of like a car in a little bit, like when you drive it off the lot, it kind of loses a lot of its value. So, if you can, and you're willing to, and you can find, which is what I did for my own wedding, if you find a pre-owned gown that's, already 40, 50, 60% off, if you take really great care of it, you can generally sell it for close to the price you paid on the kind of the next turn. And so you can end up paying, next to nothing, if of course you're willing to part with it after your big day.
What type of authentication process do you go through, and do you think that the other online retailers do the same thing, just to make sure that what you're taking in, is not a knockoff, let's say, or so because I think if I were buying online, go ahead.
Yeah. So most of the other pre-owned, or kind of sample sale sites, a lot of them are sort of peer-to-peer. So if you find that you're, buying it directly from a store or something, generally, it's authentic that way. But most of them, we get physically every dress in. So we see it, we touch it, we photograph it, both for its authenticity and its condition. And then to, also vet, unfortunately, once in a while a dress does come in that's, much more worn, or sometimes someone's had it cleaned and actually some of the stains didn't come out, but they didn't realize it because it was boxed. So we do all of that in terms of our actual process. It's just very thorough. And if there's concerns, there's a lot of things to look for in terms of the markers of authenticity. A lot of it's the heft of the fabric, the look and feel of the drape. Particularly if there's embellishment or lace, a lot of those things are fairly standard what you're looking for. And then if there have been instances where we're just not certain, and in those cases, or if we're not 100% certain, we go through an additional process to contact and vet where it was originally purchased, to get the receipts and everything else to make sure.
I love it. I love your whole concept. I think it's a great business model, and I think it's an amazing option for brides that are looking for that designer dress that they maybe can't afford at the full price, but you give them an opportunity to still have it.
Yeah, I mean that's what we hope. Yeah, I mean yeah, that's what we.
That's it in a nutshell.
I think it's great, but
and then even recoup it they could sell it back to you.
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, it's to eat. Everybody has their own. We kind of find that some brides know right away. They're like, I'm not going to be sentimental about it.
Yep.
I want it to be amazing, but it's the experience of the day. It's the photos. I'd rather trade that in for a handbag or something that I'm going to
or put it towards the honeymoon.
Or the bills that were more maybe thought. What were we? I think I lost my.
I was saying that's a great business model, and it's a great option for brides to have, because I know a lot of them do end up with.
I'm sorry. So I was saying, but some brides really don't know, and some don't even know right away. So a lot of times we actually work with brides telling it kind of at these junctures, right at the wedding, the minute I know I don't want it. Can you clean it for us? Just take it, sell it, give me the money. Yeah. But then we have people, kind of women that will get their photos and start to get a little more distance, from the experience, because it's a big thing planning your wedding. And then there's another wave that's oh, I thought maybe I wanted to keep it, but now I realize it's just been sitting in my apartment or at my parents' house. I would like to, it's not necessarily just about money. I would like to have it not be a waste. I would love to help another bride be able to wear it, save money. Yeah, that maybe could never have afforded that. Right. So that's also, I think, a big motivator. It's nice when those things dovetail, because who doesn't want to save some money when they can? But it's also, I think, to kind of, it's more of a green option. It's and it is generally someone else gets to enjoy it, so it doesn't just sit in the corner.
One last thing for those that are watching, and special promo for our group members only. You were most generous enough to offer a special promo for our members of I'm Engaged What Now. So do you want to share it with everyone?
Yeah, sure. So, if you guys kind of want to come check out the site and shop and you find a dress, we would love to give you guys $100 off whatever dress you find. And we'll post the promo code in the group. And yeah.
And you'll put it in this I want you to put it in the comments of the video. And then when you're done,
okay.
the video will say, and then also your website and how people can contact you. It's the best way for them to get in touch with you if they're interested in, talking to you or looking at your dresses online, to find out, maybe what you have, and maybe, who knows, maybe I would love to see somebody in our group wearing one of your dresses for their big day.
Yes. And we actually, we're also going to be we're going to be coming to a few cities and doing a few pop-ups in a couple months. So we'll also
you'll have to keep us posted on that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, your expertise. If anyone has any more questions, they can pop them in the comment section below, and this video will stay up in our group. And Jackie can maybe hop on occasionally and just check it out and see if there's any further questions that anyone has. Let's see, somebody actually says, so we have a member already that says she's so excited. She can't wait to start looking. Let's see, I'm looking now. Please verify to SC. I don't know, does that mean South Carolina? I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if she wants you to come to South Carolina. I'm not sure. But anyway, if a member that's really excited, and she's already looking at your website.
All right. Well, yeah, I'll pop in my contact info also, and we have a couple people on our customer service team too that are definitely always answering questions. You can ask questions about the dresses and about our policies. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you're an open book for sure. And definitely a great resource for our brides in our group.
Yeah, well, I think it's awesome, and I'm super thankful for you guys having me and listening to me. And
yeah, we'll do this again for sure, hopefully, if you're willing.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So I'm going to sign off now. The broadcast will still be up, and Jackie can check the comments when she has time. And hope you all have a great night. Thanks, Jackie.
Thank you so much.